A story that dropped in The Athletic this week. Nice timing ahead of the Lakers-Clippers game, of course. And the crux of the story was Kawhi Leonard has built this narrative as, oh, he's such a humble superstar. He's just quietly goes about his business. The board man gets paid, all that fun stuff, right? And then here we have in the story in The Athletic, when Kawhi Leonard was talking to the Lakers, the guy he handpicked, not an agent, but his uncle, Uncle Dennis, sources say the league was told that Uncle Dennis asked Lakers officials for part ownership of the team, a private plane that would be available at all times, a house, and, Ryan Hollins, this is last but certainly not least, a guaranteed amount of off-court endorsement money that they could expect if Leonard played for their team. That's a lot to take in. Ryan Hollins, Kawhi Leonard, can we officially call him a diva?
No. No. As a matter of fact, not.
Yeah. He wanted a private plane.
Listen.
Not a diva move. Okay, got it.
The reason that I say no, as an athlete, when you're hot, when you're on, brother, you have to take advantage. Kawhi Leonard is one of the most sought-after free agents that we had ever seen. And in fact, not only was he
more sought after than Kevin Durant? No.
Let me say this. Sought after in the sense that I believe his decision was actually up in the air. See, Kevin Durant's decision to me wasn't quite up in the air. It just fell down to certain circumstances. There's no one necessarily going to change or sway what Kevin Durant was doing. Now, ultimately, it looks like...
No, I don't mean Kevin Durant Nets. I mean when Durant left OKC.
Yeah, no, okay, I agree. But I think they had a handshake deal to the Warriors in season. I believe that was already in play. A lot of these, and I believe when it comes down to Kawhi Leonard, he was actually available, but he was saying, well, Clippers are the girl I want to be with, but if I'm going to go home with you, Lakers, if I'm going to go home with you, Toronto.
Lakers already had LeBron.
You guys are going to have to sway me because I know it's going to come with a lot of scrutiny,
Ryan,
right?
by the way, private plane, part ownership, a house, and a guaranteed off-court endorsement money all fall well outside the confines of the league's collective bargaining agreement. So they didn't really go into these negotiations in good faith. They basically had on ski masks and said, give us everything.
Pretty much. Or that's the only way I'm coming. That's the only way I'm coming. As an athlete, when you're hot, as I said earlier, you know there's a small window where it's going to happen. And especially with Kawhi Leonard. Keep in mind, Kawhi Leonard has never forgotten that year that he sat out in San Antonio and he saw how quickly things changed. He saw how poorly he was treated and how poorly that the narrative had changed around him from every media outlet, every coach, teammates, guys that he had spent the beginnings of his career with had now thrown him completely under the bus. So now Kawhi went into this free agency after winning a championship, after doing the unthinkable, knocking off the Warriors due to injury. I don't agree that they would have beat the full-fledged Warriors. We both agreed to that and said, man, I have to get everything that I can get out of this. Now, it is the team's responsibility to say no. And ultimately, he's not the first athlete to do this, Jason. He's not. Everybody's so appalled. My big problem here is that you found out what happened in the negotiations, and this happens all the time, a lot of the time, and you don't hear about it. You never hear. And some of these exactly.
Lakers salty.
Why are we hearing about it here? So maybe it was a situation where Kawhi is such a hot talking point because they're only mad when you're doing well. If Kawhi was stinking it up, nobody would care. They're only mad when you're doing well. Either was a deal, well, the Lakers pulled a salty move and leaked the information, or it was just one of those things that can easily come up in conversation and spread like wildfire. Can you believe what he asked for? Can you believe what he asked? The plane, the house, the everything?
I can't believe you're defending this load management fraud. Let's turn back the clock and go to, you said San Antonio. They threw him under the bus. Ryan, I mean, you remember, he was playing 3-on-3, 4-on-4 in practice with Tony Parker and Manu that year that Kawhi Leonard said, I can't play. I'm hurt. And they didn't throw him under the bus. They were like, bro, he's running practice. He looks good at practice. He looks really sharp. And he wasn't playing. That's a diva move. I don't want to play because of a degenerative knee injury. Get out of here. Nobody buys that. The Spurs doctors looked him up and down for like 6 months. This guy's ready to go.
Wait, excuse me, forgive me, I didn't hear you. You said who's doctors?
Spurs.
The one thing I'm going to tell you again as an athlete,
man.
Whenever you hear the team psychologist, the team doctor, they're on payroll for who? The team.
But it wasn't.
That's why you go out and get a second opinion. Oh, man, hey, sit down with this team psychologist. Everything's confidential. Tell them everything. As a player, we go in the locker room saying, man, you better not say anything to the team psychologist. Who's she getting paid by? Yeah. The team.
Okay, but this is a guy who won Finals MVP with them. He played for them for multiple years. He was the heir to Tim Duncan.
Here's the deal.
What incentive is there for these doctors to screw Kawhi?
Here's the deal. When you're a young guy in your career and something happens to your body in which you cannot explain, I'm talking Kawhi Leonard. He had a situation, I saw it with J.J. Redick when he was the first year with the Clippers. His quad was not firing. He had a level of, it was either a neuro deal or a patella, something in which he would play above the amount of time, and that quad would just, it would kind of go limp noodle. It was not working. And the first time in your career you start to feel something with your body that's not right, it's a scary place to be in. And when you get out on the court and you attempt to go play, and we're talking Kawhi Leonard, and you say, what's wrong with my knee? What's wrong with my leg? This doesn't feel right. And the answers you're telling me aren't equating to what's happening because, doctor, I'm with you 4 or 5 hours a day doing treatment, getting rehab, doing all the little things, and it's not working out. So when I look at what San Antonio did, they were not empathetic to what Kawhi Leonard had going on. And I get it. Manu Ginobili ran through both his knees and his ankles and had no problem long until he was over the age where he should have been playing.
Played until 40, right?
Tony Parker would risk it all, hip, knee, whatever. Tim Duncan would take less.
These guys are Hall of Famers, yeah. And guess what? This is perfect. Ryan Hollins, what he's saying is perfect. All these guys were warriors. Kawhi never has played more than 74 games in a season. And you know the label on Kawhi Leonard was is he soft? Is he soft? He don't want to play. He don't want to push his body to the limits. He doesn't want to play. His limits were minute. This is a guy who came into the league and was like a sixth man with the Spurs for a minute. Okay? He's never played more than 74 games in his career. He's 28 now. Is it injuries? Is he soft? Is he... I don't know. What is it? What's the problem with Kawhi Leonard? Why isn't he playing back-to-backs? Who is this guy? Joel Embiid? It's just frustrating as a fan.
You're utterly ridiculous.
Oh, boy.
You're absolutely absurd. Jason McIntyre, you're somebody, whether you consider me a good friend or not, I consider you a good friend. And I want you to know, if he gets hurt, no one cares.
What do you mean?
Listen.
If Kawhi goes down right now, the league cares big time.
No. I'm talking about at the time, just in period. If Kawhi Leonard gets hurt and he can't be the best Kawhi Leonard that he can be, nobody cares. They move on. You're as good as done as an athlete. The reality when it comes to Kawhi Leonard, only you know your body. And when Kawhi gets on the floor, all you see is this guy who's 6'8", 200, 40, 30 pounds, who can dribble, shoot, jump out the gym, and you see his physical stature and nature. Only he knows how he feels. And it's an old school throwback mentality where you go out and you run yourself into the ground.
Larry Bird.
And when you're no longer
Michael
good,
Jordan.
you go on. And there are only a few guys who can actually do that at a high level. And I'm glad you brought up Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan didn't have the injuries that a lot of these guys have, that the normal players have.
Injuries in air quotes, because we still don't know what's wrong with Kawhi. I have not gotten a definitive word. If you want to say, hey, doctor-client confidentiality, fine. Okay, well, then until you give me the real story, I'm sorry. I'm going to say, LeBron's always playing 75,
let me share something with
games.
you. He probably doesn't really know. And even more scary, the doctors probably still didn't, and especially at that time in San Antonio, did not really understand. Do you know how scary it is to go into the doctor and you say, man, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with, I'm coughing, I'm whatever, I'm sick, my knee hurts, my elbow, and the doctor goes, I don't know, I'm not sure. And then the doctor goes, you go and tell the doctor, man, I did everything you told me and my knee still hurts. Well, I don't know what to tell you, just play through it. What?
Okay. That's fair. That's all good and well. But that argument falls apart because how often does Kawhi Leonard miss playoff games? Oh, Ryan Hollins, that knee that's, it's just degenerative and something's always wrong. But in the playoffs, his knee never really flares up.
Isn't that the exact argument why he isn't soft, though? He's trying to be ready for toughest time of the year.
So when the chips are down and it's a tough time, Kawhi Leonard says, I will show up every day and be a warrior. But during the season, I'm not going to play in November and December.
Let me pose
How is that not diva behavior?
Let me pose something to you. Jason McIntyre, there's not too many sports that get past you. You know every stat, every player. You don't miss a beat, and you are uber informed. Uber informed. No. I'm a big fan, brother. So there was a point when Toronto and Kawhi Leonard, they were playing Philadelphia, and I forget which game it was, but you literally saw Kawhi get to a point where Kawhi, I believe in game 5 and on, after Philly, was literally dragging his leg up and down the court, that you could see Kawhi playing in the NBA Finals and playoffs on one leg. Something happened to where Kawhi's leg went out. And it was even interesting. Remember when he dunked on Giannis? He dunked on him left-handed. Kawhi Leonard literally ran and jumped off of one leg, palms it with his left hand, and dunks on Giannis Antetokounmpo. So he did everything that we're talking about on one leg. That can only last for so long. You only want that from Kawhi in an all-or-nothing type of situation. And you got to understand, when Kawhi's knee, and I'm not no doctor, I just played the game for 10 years, 4 in college, 4 in high school, had knee problems the entire time. It's part of an NBA career. You can see that knee get a certain level of fatigue and not fire and not work the same. I don't know if he's got chondromalacia, which is roughage of the kneecap, which causes swelling. Whatever it is, Kawhi Leonard does not want to overwork his quad or knee to a certain extent because it will literally give out on him.
Okay, so he will overwork it in the playoffs, right? But he won't in the regular season. Interesting. So I don't remember.
Whoa, is that wrong? Whoa, you say that really open-ended.
Okay,
is that
good.
a bad statement?
Now we're getting down to the crux. But let me look back at this Sixers series when they barely won on that Kawhi prayer shot in the corner. He took 39 shots in that game. 41 points. Boy, I'm sure the knee was just killing him. And then the next series against Milwaukee, he got to the line an average of 10 times a game. Boy, I'm sure the knee was just brutal. Oh, my gosh. He only averaged 29 and 9. And then in the finals, of course, getting guarded by, Warriors backups and G League guys. He had a really good series. So, Warrior, tough guy in the playoffs, and then regular season, no, I don't win it. So, okay, so here, you guys make some fair points. And I don't want to act like I'm going in.
He is unreal, Gavin.
It's like you're arguing for guys that only care about going to the Pro Bowl. Like, I'm going to put up these regular seasons. Who cares about the regular season?
And Gavin points to a fine thing. If that's the new NBA, hey man, we care about the playoffs.
That's not what we're saying, bro. That's not what we're saying.
When LeBron, right now they got a back-to-back this week. LeBron probably ain't playing in both of them. And I am going to the Mavericks-Lakers game on Sunday. Will you be there? Luka's supposed to be back, by the way.
I don't know. I might be there. Okay. I'm not sure.
So, if LeBron starts taking days off, I want the same energy you guys have for defending Kawhi to defend LeBron when he takes off a back-to-back.
Stop looking at me like that, bro. I love load management. Stop looking at me like I love load management.
And that goes to all you meatheads out there listening to the Dan Patrick Show, okay? And you could have come on Twitter and bashed LeBron. Keep that same energy for Kawhi, because I just feel like it's a double standard.
Kawhi has been slammed. And the big slam, Kawhi has been slammed for load management. Whoa, is that a wrong statement?
Name the media members who have slammed Kawhi.
This is a tidal wave of Kawhi Leonard and load management. Kawhi is so quiet, you got to search. They got to dig into the art. They had to find out what happened with Uncle Dennis in his meeting and him to miss a Milwaukee Bucks game early in the season to find anything. The guy gives you nothing.
First week of the season, he's load managing.
The guy gives you nothing. Well, I mean, clearly he played into the NBA Finals on a bad knee. The guy had to.
Can I stop hearing about this knee?
Okay, hold on.
Can I hear some real facts?
Let me.
Oh, he's got a bad knee. I mean, shucks.
I think you just
got
want
a bad
honesty.
elbow.
Let me ask you
just
something.
want honesty.
Let me ask you something,
Yes,
Jason McIntyre. Let me ask you something. Did you see Kawhi Leonard in the NBA playoffs limping up and down the court?
I saw him
yes
hanging
or
a lot
no?
of points on the Sixers.
Whoa, no. Answer the question. Yes or no, was he limping?
We got to go to break. I'm going to go with no for now, but I'm going to go on
You
YouTube
are
and see if I can find.
You are a man.
I mean, he didn't miss no
on a
games if he
mission.
was so beat up, Ryan Hollins.
He can't.
Sit out a game.
It's win or go home.
No, you got 7-game series. They're up 3-1, 3-2, whatever. Sit out a game.
You're something else, man.
Uncle Dennis, come on. Come at me, bro.